So I don't know how well this is going to work out, but there is a scammer who is trying to scam me. They are a romance scammer, and that's what I like to scambait. It's better me, who can deal with this, get them on the look. But they're trying really hard to call me. They're actually been calling me. So, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to try and put them on speakerphone and help you know that, people fall for this stuff. I'm not one of those people. Hello? Good morning. I'm doing okay. How are you? Nice. Ah. Oh. What? I don't usually have breakfast. I usually just have one meal a day. Okay. Hi. Okay. Okay. So obviously, a very Asian voice. Obviously, apparently you can't throw it to speakerphone. It's like obviously an Asian dialect, and it's like, why have you not had breakfast? Because I don't. And and you may be asking, obviously, I do apologize for not actually. I didn't know. Now I know. But so you have a persona online. I have a fake email that I use my scam baiting with, and obviously I know what they're doing. Um, So it's just one of those things where I'd rather waste somebody's time and hopefully potentially save a victim. Because people who don't know, because if you're lonely and you're like super, if you're super alone and depressed, and then you find somebody who calls you honey, darling, love, they're grooming you, obviously. They're false sense of security, or without knowing anything. This person, I haven't sent my name. And, I don't lie to them. When they ask a question, I'm usually genuinely honest, even though I know their game. Because the reason why I'm good at scam baiting is because there's a lot of authenticity to what I'm saying, so it gets them on the hook longer. I've already caught this person in so many different ways. But yeah, and I have my little notes keeping me along. This person immediately. Also, yeah, it's just one of those things when, because scam baiting is an art form, and a lot of people fall for it, and I'm going to be honest. So, they don't love you. They don't care. They don't give a damn for you. I almost threw somebody under the bus. Anyway, the reason why people fall for these things is they want companionship. They want to be loved. They want somebody to care for them. And then when somebody goes, oh, I can't video chat, or I can't do this, to me it's immediately red flags. But again, I've been around the block. Most likely it's been around a block of cheese. Anyway, so with the the way that it works is, they're going to go, oh, my grandma's in the hospital, or my Meemaw's in the hospital. Obviously, it's a big bad bang theory. Not always, but because I know, I live in the South. Meemaw is a common phrase. Anyway, I associate it with Sheldon. Moon pie. Alright, anyway. So basically what it is, somebody's going to say, oh, I love you, care about you. And it is like, okay, hey, give me a $50 gift card because I need internet. What? That's not how this works. This is not how any of this works. A $50 iTunes gift card is not going to get you internet or get you gas money unless you take it to the forums and you turn it into Bitcoin. And then you take the Bitcoin, and then you take the Bitcoin into your currency. And you're losing money off of that. I think they understand that they're losing a lot of money. Because that's how it goes. And if you would like to know more about scambaiting, please check out Jim Browning, Kit Boga, Scammer Payback, Progy. Those are people that I watch. There's a lot of people that I watch. There's like Pleasant Green. And I've been doing this for years. I didn't know that it actually had a name called scambaiting, but it is something that I enjoy. However, I will talk more about scambaiting. But, they will lull you into a false sense of security, and every scammer is different, especially every scambaiter. Now, and it's like, they go, oh, you have a cute voice. Like, yeah, no, I don't. I know that 100% because, well, I'm me. I'm not stupid. And I usually only give information when it's provided. Not a lot of people are that way. But, if somebody asks you, hey, I need a gift card for this or that reason, like, plane trips or whatever, don't fall for it. Stay away. Stay away. And it happens, and there's a lot of red flags, but when it comes to things, because there's a lot of this type of stuff, so when a scammer decides what they want to do, or how they want to play the game, there's the short con or the long con. The short con, there is no gain for me. There is no reason for me to waste my time playing short con. I'll give you an example of what a short con is. Let's say you make a post online. Let's say a Craigslist or whatnot. You're going to get, hey, DTF, hookup escort available. Okay. What they're going to do is, they're going to get your information. And then tell you, hey, you need to provide us a gift card. You need to do that immediately. Yeah, that's not happening. And I'm going to be honest, I've been a victim of a scammer a few times. Lesson learned. That's okay. Life goes on. But yeah, when you actually think about the prey, for me, I'm not into the short con, because there is no gain and I can't keep them on the hook long term. Because basically they make false account and I can't report them fast enough. In order to report them to the higher authorities, I need to check a lot of boxes. I need to know the person's information that they stole from, which it's the internet. You can find that information if you know what you're doing. And, excuse me, they're going to take everything, and they're like, and for me, they're like, where do you work? And it's like, I do my own podcast. You know, you're live, pal. It's like, oh, when are you off work? It's like, I start and I quit when I want to. But, and I get a kick out of it because it's something that is, I'm hoping to prevent another victim. Now, because, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of romance scammers that, the long con, they go 3-4 years. But once they get 3 to 4 pieces of your information, they're gone. And they're making bank off of your information. Well, their higher ups are making bank. They are not. But yeah, you gotta, excuse me, you have to be very conscious of what you do, and I'm very but once I get their information, or I track their IP address after I get through the VPN, and get a lot of their information, I will send it to the higher authorities, and it's in their wheelhouse. Now, a lot of people think that, you send them to the higher authority, that means that you must keep doing what you're doing. No. But unless they ask you to keep doing what you're doing, unless you're when you're at that point, you are told to cease communication, unless they know that you can get more information, and have them, give more information. But that's what I've been told in my local authority. Your mileage may vary. But if you can get more information out of them, yes. But, it's not people that, Kit Boga or Pierogi deal with. It's, scammers are gonna scam you. I'm not as talented as the other people, but I do my best, and these people rob people blind, and it's unfair. It's unfair that the victim is blamed a lot of the time. If the victim falls for this and, drain their entire account, it's like, well, if you have somebody who talks to a person and they don't come down, they don't visit you, your friend, but if they don't do anything, and, it's basically a one-sided conversation, but yet they want financial gain from you, yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, if it's good to be true, it is. Um, so it's rough. It's rough indeed. And it, there's nothing wrong with being a victim, depending on how bad. If they have your entire life, yeah, well, you you just lost your identity. Because there's many information that they get from you. They're selling it all. They're selling the picture that you send, and if it is a lewd, then they're going to extort you. There's Scammer has so many avenues, and yeah, it's rough. It's rough indeed. Ooh, so I just wanted to add to this. For people who know me personally, know that I know the local modeling and acting, the casting directors and and it's like, yeah. And so I know the local scene. I know many of those places, and it's like, this person who I'm talking to wants to be a model. Hence, until I do things support me. That's their game. They pick occupations that are low pain and per gig. And if you're gonna be a model, you would already be a model. I know that may sound bleak, but a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to be a model." It's like, if you were a model, you would already be a model. But again, you have to work for it, and so they just said that they legitimately just said something, and I'm like, okay, I could totally go into the wheelhouse that I live in, which is racing. Because it's F1. It's like, really? Really? Formula 1? I can get behind that. Obviously. Obviously that's not what they mean, but I'm like, I can play it off like that. So, and when you are a Scambaiter, you officially handicap yourself even more because you're going off of their scripts, and if you derail the normal lines, they become angry and they become so yeah. It's okay. This when you have people who fall victim to, and I'm not blaming the victim, and I mean I'm blaming the scammer, but scammers are gonna scam. You can't fault them. You can't destroy them. And people like Jim Browning, they're doing the work. They're having people, but me, I'm just a small minnow doing what I can. But I do my best. So, alright. So, I told them that I am a podcaster. They're like, oh, you need to cut me into your podcast business. Like, no. You're an idiot. But a lot of people would fall for that because they say it very special. And that's okay. And so I kind of somewhat lifted the veil. Which, depending of, from this person, I've already got all the information. I've relayed it to the proper authority. So I lifted the veil. And told them, what's up? Because they're like, oh, hey, cut me into your... It's like, hey, look. This isn't about the money. It's not about... it's about, letting people know. And if anybody knows me, knows that I'm not going to do anything unless I'm motivated. And I love making my episodes, talking. I'm passionate. And I'm coping with life. So, it's... I do what I can. And I have a lot of free time. And so... Then, I throw myself out there. I get hit by a truck. And that's okay. But I'm passionate about the things that I do. I'm passionate about, saving a life, saving a potential victim. So, and it affects me because, they tell me that, oh, hey, we've already scammed this person out of 10 grand. It's like, oh, depending on where they are financially, they may be dead in a week. Do you not care? No, they care about money. So when I lift, a little of the curtain, my passion, like when somebody says, hey, cut me into your streaming business, it's like, I can cut this penny if you want. Cut this penny up 19 times. And that's usually when I tell them, it's like, I don't live my life chasing money. So, I do my best, and I love making people aware. In my local store that I go to a lot, I've been begging, pleading to them to put signs up by the gift cards saying, hey, beware of scams. When they finally did it, I'm like, thank you. Now, granted, I'm not taking credit for that because I know a couple of days prior to it, a lot of Scambaiters were on national TV talking, and right after that aired, I saw a lot in my local area bringing up beware of scams. Click here for more information. I'm very passionate when, somebody's like, oh, hey, I want $50 iTunes gift card. No. But, I have a friend, who is in the same boat as my group of people. And I want, there's a video game that they want. And I don't got a lot of money to my name, but, I like to make people smile, even though sometimes it's hard for me to smile. And they won't accept me because they keep on saying, hey, can I buy this for you? Would you allow me to buy this for you? And I don't want anything back. I'm, because it's a game that they've been looking forward to. We all pitched in for a different game not too long ago. And we're playing it with everybody. All four of us, we are playing this game. And we're loving it. We're actually going to be doing it in a few hours. But the problem is I want to give them this game because we're gamers. I'm also a Scambaiter. But these people are not scammers. These are people generally my friends. And there was a time where I actually offered to give them a PS5, PlayStation 5. And they're like, no. This was right when pre-orders open, I got one for me, got one for my ex, got one for, I got two for her friends, but that's, and then one of her friends canceled. And I'm like, okay. I've still kept it. And then eventually I sold it. At cost. And so everybody in our group had the PS5 except this person. And I went, hey, look, I will buy this for you. I don't have the money, but and they're like, no, and I'm like, okay, but I want, but I understand, and I'm not ever going to force that issue, but at the same time, deep down, I'm like, I would like to do this for you. But, please be aware of, scammers, and, if you get a call, the car extended warranty, or Social Security, hell, even some banks, your bank may have been compromised. If I get a call from a bank, Uh, and they're like, "Hi, this is from Bank of America." It's like, okay, you know what, I need to do something, and I usually, quit, call, hang up. Then I will head to the nearest Bank of America's and wonder what's up. If they call me again, you know, you have to figure out, you know, I'm I do maybe a little bit more paranoid that, you know, everybody's gonna come after you. You know, everybody's out to get you. But you know, I do my best, and you know, life is hard, but I try and help people. You know, build people up, lift them up, help them any way I can to chase their dreams. But it's odd that I do all this stuff to help people chase their dreams. But when it comes to my dreams and aspirations, they don't seem to care. They don't give two craps what I'm doing. Now there's a few people who are not in my little circle who are like, wow, this is deep stuff. I like what you're doing. Excuse me. I like what you're doing. And that's inspiring, but at the same time, it's like, I find it funny that, you know, the stuff that I'm doing, the stuff that I love to do, it feels like the people in my circle, they don't have the time to support what I want to do. But they have no problem going on, hey, I want to do this, I would love to do this, I would love, and it's like, yeah, I'll support you. I'll do everything to help your dreams come true. Because they ask me for my opinion, they ask for help, and yet at the end of the day, I'm left with nothing and just empty. And that's a feeling that nobody should ever feel. You know, when I do so much, I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to expect anything back except respect, but you know, when I told somebody that I started my own podcast, they didn't even give me a response. They didn't care. they couldn't manipulate it, so they ignored it. And not once, I've been doing my podcast for a while now, and still not once have they mentioned anything. And I've that's rough. That's tough because I've always been there for them, but apparently they've never actually been in my corner. So, but you know, be smart. This is different, but at the same time, it's not, because when it comes to scammers, it affects people. I mean, for me, I do my best. But it can affect people, cause people more depressed, and they will do anything to make a little cash. They're not gonna get it from me. But I do make it a point in a lot of stuff where I am honest, like, I don't care about the money, because I have none. And that's okay. And it's hard because be safe out there. I will. This is a tough episode. I didn't mean it to be take a lot of on my soul, but it did. And those people, I still love them. I still care about them. But it just hurts where they didn't, make an effort to and yet when they want inspiration or they want motivation, they ask me, and I will be gladly to help them. So, I don't blame the victims. I mean, I do blame the scammers, and that's okay. But, we need to help people. And, if you know anybody who is talking to somebody they've never met, but they're sending gift cards, or, you just don't think that who they're talking to are legit, because it weighs down on my mental illness and my well-being, because I hate people being in pain and being lied to and manipulated, because them scammers, they do their best to play the victim, so they feel used after you don't buy them the gift card. By the way, so that's what the scammer did just recently for me. which it's all good. I got all the information that I need, and I can let the proper authorities know. And there's a few things that you can do. If there's somebody in your life that you care about who's talking to somebody who you don't think is legit, I'll teach you a tool that you can use. And it's called Gravify. Go to Google, type in Gravify. It's an IP logger. Find a URL that you would be typically send them. It shortens it. Don't use the Gravify thing. So after you shorten it, go in the settings. And you can do drop down, and you can do like a image share, or cat and things, or etc. etc. Find one that kind of fits the subject matter that you're sending. And nothing nefarious. For me, I use, like a bookstore. Hey, I have this book that I'm going to probably buy. Have you read it? And, sometimes with the scammers, you have to coax them, because they're like, oh yeah, no, I haven't read it. And then it's like, really? Have you heard of this? No. And then you find, after they click it, and, do your research. By all means, do your research. But you can find out their IP, if they're using a VPN. Sometimes, sometimes it's, oh yeah, they're in the United States, but yet when you look at their time code and their local IP, they're in Nigeria, they're in Lagos, they're in Indonesia, It's it's very eye-opening when you show them and tell them it's like, yeah, you're talking to somebody who is basically a huge lie. And, and even the scammers, they will like, oh, oh, sweetie, our love is secret. You can't tell anybody. But yeah, no, definitely, go to the store and get me a $50 gift card that I can go to the internet, sell it, turn it into Bitcoin, and then turn it into local currency. And that's how they do it. I don't get majority of it, because they go off of the script. And when you stray off the script, if they're intelligent enough, the person that I was dealing with, not so much. But when they yell at you, when they curse at you, don't retaliate. Nothing is solved that way. I handle it very courtesy, because you don't want it to come back in your face. There's a lot of people that needs to be aware, because, scammers, and there's many different scam scenarios, and they're going to hit you in many ways, because there's many scammers situations, and they will sometimes they will go from one scam to another. The person that I dealt with in the last 2 days, they were gift cards. That's how they operate. Very adamant, and I do not. There and when I pulled the veil and went, okay, I've done enough with this person, and basically every second was gift card, and so I took a photo of, said, hey, beware of scams, and they go, oh, but I'm not a scam. It's like, no, you're a scammer doing the scam. So it's like, and they like to play the victim. They like to lead you on, and if it's too good to be true, probably is. And be suspicious, and it's very mentally draining, because scammers, they ruin lives, and they affect many lives. And not only the people information that they're trying to steal, the victim, but the photo that they've stolen that they're using. They're using and manipulating many other people using their information. And they will sell all of your information and make every little penny they can off of you. And I know this is mean and a little rude, and I apologize, but you can't get internet using an iTunes gift card. You can't pay gas with an iTunes gift card. I mean, unless there's an Apple gas station that I don't know about that takes gift cards. If there is, then I apologize, but to my recollection, there's not. So I want to help people, because everybody's coping with life. Everybody wants a significant other. I'm being honest, but at the same time, I am an easy mark. For somebody who's desperate to have somebody to love me and care about me. I'm an easy mark. However, a lot of what scammers don't know is I got a big old brain. I've been around the block or two. So therefore, they can say that they're in control, but I am. And I don't have the sources or the means to do a lot. And I'm not being nefarious. I'm not, I'm not going to attack them or abuse them. And if you are a scambaiter, please don't abuse them. They're people, and yeah, they're horrible people, but do not abuse them. And I'm very courtesy through and through, and the you know they like mind games. They have this false sense of what America's like, and a little background of the situation of the last couple days. So this person claimed to be in Portland, Oregon. So you ask questions, but you ask vague questions that people who either is a hipster and a dork who know and go, yeah, there's this bookstore that I want to go to. There's actually a random person in Florida many years ago who's like, yeah, I don't remember where, but this, and they were talking about this bookstore. And I'm like, okay. And then when you say the name, they go, yes. So I went, oh, hey. And this is to the scammer. Back on subject. So I typed in, hey, since you're in town, have you been to the bookstore? And they go, what bookstore? Okay. If you live in Portland, you know about Powell's. There's a couple of locations, but the main location of Burnside, you know of Powell's. At least you heard that or Voodoo Donuts, two big, iconic shops. There's another one that I actually didn't know about until somebody was like, hey, have you heard of Killer Burgers? Like, oh, kind of, but no. I've heard of it, but I didn't actually know that was the name. And now I'm a huge fan of Killer Burger. But again, that was like, I just moved here, and then it's like, oh, okay. See, thing that you learn. And now I'm a huge fan. But yeah, I know this is a very different and long-winded, and I apologize for the one-sided phone call. But again, we learn, and this is vastly different. But it's coping with life, and dealing with all aspects. Some days some episodes will be about, depression, grief. But Friday, I'm going to just talk about my life and stories about my life and just be real and be honest. And, there may be an episode where I talk about Dungeons and Dragons and other things, because sometimes that is happiness. This, scammers, scammers suck, and I'm not just saying that scammers exist online. They exist everywhere. And that's okay, because you have to use your brain and assess the situation. But, it's okay, because, when people have when people find a vulnerability, they're going to exploit it. And that's rough. That's hard. But people who blame the victim, that's where I draw the line, because it's excuse me. So, and they're going to get you many times, so don't blame the victim. In the scammer that I was talking to, the same one that this entire podcast has been about, immediately was the gift card scam. Trying to get as many gift cards from you as possible without knowing the information. And they're going to ask you so many personal questions that you should never tell anybody. Don't tell somebody where you bank at. And then when you ask, what do you want with that information? They go, I want to send you money. I am rich. I am wealthy. When my daddy passed, now keep in mind, about 5 minutes later, I said my dad passed away. Again, I'm usually honest. However, this is a persona that I use, and so I have a way around it. And I'm not going to give away a lot of my script, but if I do go off of their opinion of how things play, and I mean, it's not a lie, because it's basically how I live, because I live life to the fullest. I love making people smile, and so they're like, oh yeah, okay, so I have bad credit score, so I can't get a bank, so I want to do this. I will put $5,000 in your bank, you keep $1,000, and it's like, no. I mean, if you know anything about things, there's a lot of wrong to that. And I'm not going to get into more details of what they said, because that's not the time or place, especially in my podcast. But they immediately went from gift cards, which they were still going on about, but they were also trying this. And obviously they're also password hunting as well. They have your email address. They have a lot of more information on you, more than you would think. They're also sharing the deep web, which, while this is going on, I'm keeping track of what they're doing via the dark web. and since everything really that I'm giving them is bogus, um, you know, bogus email. Not once did this one ask me my name. So in their script, I was a victim, and they said victim a lot. And they're like, darn, autocorrect. It's like, yeah, sure. But, and they will do anything and everything to, get what they want. And so they will ask you for your parents' information and family. And they will ask you, hey, are you single? Have you ever been married? Kids? And they will ask you it a lot. And, I'm going to be honest. You usually only ask that question once to somebody if you're actually having a real conversation. And excuse me. Sorry. And you hear them because obviously they're trying to password hunt, trying to get all of the information that they can. So they go to parents. And trying to get more information, and they're going, well, if we get married, blah, 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 bullcrap. And so usually what I do is they're like, hey, are your parents alive? Siblings? I avoid the question. I do say that my dad is deceased. However, I totally ignore that, and I change the question, and I use part of my script that is me, because if you know yourself, you're going to basically go through the line. And I'm in a lot of Scambaiter forums. We all talk. We all share notes. More than some. And the problem that some of these Scambaiters that I've talked to, they can't keep their story straight. They falter. They, and then. Because when they start playing the victim and they're like, hey, I've been sticking through the same story the entire time. So they don't care. And they will lull you into a false sense of security, and they will try everything. Because they think they know how things work. And yet, they make so much money off of people. And that scares me, because I want to help save victims. I want to help save people, and if I can... if you get the right scammer, and you talk to them, if you get past a layer, because depending on the scammer and depending of how you do things, even you're still pulling up the charade, but they can give you a lot of information without knowing, the person who I talked to, they they say, "Oh, I'm a model." There's like, yeah, uh, the, so the top one, depending of what you choose, um, they ask me what my uh, job is, and I say, "Well, I'm a content creator." Uh, and immediately they're like, "Hey, cut me in on what you do," and I'm like, "No, I'm building a brand. Um, I have met a plethora of great people, and those great people, hello, everybody. Uh, Everybody who's listening, and I care about each and every one of you. Even if you are a scammer, thank you for listening. Um, but you know, when people, um, modeling or military, they don't find any reasons, not to see you, or you know, uh, you know, it's it's sad because a lot of people are gullible, um, and says somebody who is very gullible. I'm throwing that out there. I am what I am. Hence why I'm in the EV mark. But at the same time, it also makes it easy for me to um, play along and get as much information as possible. And I've learned a lot from other Scambaiters, and so right now the majority of Scambaiters, they go after like the Microsoft or Amazon, those type of scammers, because those are vicious. Very seldom do Scambaiters go after the romance scammers. And most of the time, they're one and the same. And I don't do it often. I'm because it is very taxing, very it takes a lot of energy to go through it, and sometimes I don't well, like I said, I mean, it's a long con, and I go until I get as much information that I can, that I can report it, and then I do what I do. And I've dealt with some horrible scammers that will just go, yeah, I'm a scammer. And it's like, oh, well, thank you for your honesty. But and I'm not gonna get into this. It may come up later. I don't know. But you know, but people with mental illnesses and with disability, elderly people with mental problems and disabilities, they're prime targets, 100%, because most of the time you are targeted way before you may be posting, but they're they've taken a deep dive into your life, and so they're like, "Yep, we gotta guard them fish." You know, if we get them on the line, ooh, we're gonna eat good tonight. And it's sad because a lot of people will take their lives, and you know, it's not okay. It hurts so much of my body that you have a group of people who do everything that they can to take advantage of people, and they don't care. They don't care. And it hurts because I do feel it when I'm talking to these people and I'm reading what they're saying and I'm reading how they act, and you know, if I'm in a down place or if I'm down a road, and you know, I totally see how people can get swept in, and you know, especially, you know, being embarrassed and you know, they're very persistent and they're very keen on what they say and how they say it. And one of the things that they will do is they are going off of your answers and trying to steer the conversation. And so a few tips to help protect you and others. Even if they send you erotic photos, don't send any back, because you know, they're going to try and extort you. They will get information from you that you provide of, hey, I work at Joe's Diner off of 73rd and Bernard Street. You know, I'm an erotica dancer for them, which go Joe's Diner, right? Where, you know, a place that doesn't exist, yet that is their favorite place on the Citadel. But you know, they're going to get the place where you work, and they will try and, you know, when you work, when you are off work, they are building their life. You know, they are, okay, this is all the avenues that they can do, because if you have so many information that you give them, you know, they may have people local to ransack your place, rob you blind, try and get you fired. And this is basis, and this is situational and depending on the scammer and who you're actually talking to on the other end. But if they send you erotic photos, don't send them back. Unless it's somebody that you legitimately met in person and you trust them, okay, maybe. But, when somebody tells you, you know, I know there's stories, of meeting somebody in person and getting married in the next 72 hours. But is that really realistic? I know it happens here and there, but it's never happened in my life. But, within 12 minutes of a conversation of, hi, how are you? Immediately, this person is, loving you and, sending you things, those are red flags. And, beware. But, when you have to be mindful, because if you tell them where you work and any photo that could be considered, and they will lie about you as well. They will try and get you fired, try and do so much, blackmail. They don't care. And the best part about having the content creator background without giving any information, I don't share where it's like, but it's like immediately they're like, hey, cut me on. It's like, wow, what have you done? And they're like, nothing, but support me. Like, but, it's a lot of people fall for that. And I don't fault the victim, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but, scammers are good. They will do everything, but here's the thing. With the day and age that we live in, there is no excuse not to have a FaceTime or Zoom or have video chat or proper communication, especially if they're in a different country, especially if they're in places like the typical area where scammers are from. And they're not always located in those areas. A lot of scammers can be in local. We have them as well. But, and they will immediately go, oh, I'm busy. It's like, you make time because, they would make time for you. They would, but at the end of the day, they don't give a damn about you. And it changes people after they've been victimized, and and most victims are embarrassed or horrified that they gave all this information, and may have ruined their lives. And especially if you're doing this and you're cheating on your spouse, and that there's stories out there that are horrifying where, and keep in mind that while any information that you give them pertaining to anything viable, they're selling on the dark web. They're selling all of your information. So any photo sets that you send them, a lot of people will try and, send me a photo. Send me another photo. Another photo of me. And keep in mind that the more photo sets that you send them, depending on how organized the scammers are, it could just be a bulk folder or a very, here's lewd photos, here's, outside, here's all these to use to take on other people. So you really have to be careful. And if you're on social media, be careful what you post, because social media, nothing is safe on social media. And it's, especially if somebody hacks you, if somebody hacks you, are you simple enough to somebody can impersonate you? Or is your way of doing things very complicated? I can't answer that. I'm not going to give any information more on that, because everybody is different. But the reason why I bring it up is somebody who I knew was hacked, and the way that they posted what they were saying was on point. But then they send you a message. So they're posting on, and they send you a message, and they're trying to stay on key. And so then I will, and I when they were typing to me, I thought it was weird. Especially since, of this person. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Hold on. So I pull out my phone while this person is talking to me. Allegedly. I pull out my phone and I call this person. And they pick up the phone, which I give them all the credit in the world for their immediately response is, "What do you want?" Are you typing to me? Why would I type to you? Why would I talk to you? By the way, your social media account has been hacked. You're currently talking to me. Wait, what? Yeah, your social media account is being currently hacked. They've been impersonating you for a little while. Just letting you know that you've been hacked. It's like, so we video chat, I point at my screen while they're talking to me. They're like, oh, well, thank you. It's like, hey, you know, but, at the same time, I'm very privy to that thing because, sometimes the scammers, they don't know exactly what's going on in somebody's life or who people are. They, hey, click this link or be phished. Be safe. And the thing that I can't stress enough is do your research. And with the scammer that I dealt with, that's privy to this entire podcast, which I'm well aware, it is very long, but it's very passionate, and it's, I'm doing my best, but the advice that I can, and so the person that this entire podcast is basically wrapped around what, the photos that those people use, I have to, me being me, not only am I reporting them to the authorities, again, there's majority of the time, in order to report to the authorities, you have to be an actual victim. However, there's a lot of information that you have to have. So I have to find the person's information that they've stolen the photos from. And there are ways to try and find those people. Sometimes those people are no longer on this earth. Sometimes it's a needle in the haystack and you won't be able to find any information because they have got the information from other ways of communication. So, or, they've gotten, or it's lost its track because, your phone may have been hacked and all of your stuff been downloaded, and so there's no real information on you, and so they have your photo sets from your phone. And so that is the hardest, but you try and find the people, and it's really hard when you have access to there, and you're able to send them a DM and say, by the way, there's people impersonating you online, and here's proof. I feel horrible trying there because everybody takes that so differently. And with the information that people can get off of somebody, it's horrible. So protect yourself, please. Do your research. Minimize what you post. I mean, you do you. And, be safe. And if there's anybody in your life that you know that has been a victim, don't blame them. And, there's not a lot that you can do, but I'm sorry that, a lot of people are affected, and especially in the last year. What everybody's been in the last year, if you're currently in, a, to the scammers, they're dating you, even though they're not, they're shaming you. When the events of last year happened, that was the best time, because they're like, oh hey, here's a relief fund, and they use the person's information, and now they're getting government aid, and yeah, so much money went to scammers because of information, and they're like, oh yeah, hey, I'm still overseas, but help me out with this, and they will use your information, and so hard. It's relentless, and I'm going to be honest, there's way more than one. But I'm just a small fish trying to help at least save one person who, and that's why this podcast is going out today. I love you all. I do. I wish everyone the best. I hope everybody's doing okay, and this podcast is going to be covering a lot of things, mainly stories about my life, things that I'm doing, but this was, in all honesty, this was kind of last minute, but and I'm learning, and if there's any advice and tips you can give me, please do. And if you would like to support me, please do. You can go to anchor.fm/coping with life, and there should be a support tab. By all means, you don't have to. Just putting it out there. And please be safe out there. Protect your information. There's a lot of resources out there to see if your information has been bought and sold on the dark web. Now, be careful on that, because a lot of them will lie to you. And don't believe everything you read on the internet. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. We all are human. And it's all part of humanity. And I love each and every one of you. And please please, if there's anybody in your life who's going through something similar, tell them that you care about them. Tell them that, if you find out that the other person is a scammer, and there's a lot of ways to go around it, but but when you go through information, it's hard. And a lot of victims that I've had the pleasure of talking to, after they've sent hundreds or thousands of dollars, they feel obligated to continue because it's companionship, even though it's not. But they feel embarrassed. They don't know what to do at that point because a lot of them are in financial ruin. And at that point, the person on the other end has, all of your information if you give them to them and they rub you blind. So, thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. Be safe out there. I bid you adieu